What is up, guys? Daddy Butter here with another Mobile Legends tutorial video. And today we're going to be talking about something that may seem a little bit basic to some people, but also I think even if you're a veteran of the game, sometimes you lose sight of a couple of these points, and so I really wanted to go over them with you guys. I really do kind of take more pride in my tutorial videos than anything else, like ranked and, all my gameplays and stuff. They are secondary. So in all honesty, I really do appreciate likes and shares and comments and stuff, even more so on my tutorials. So if you guys do like it, please make sure to hit the like button because, I want more people to see it. Again, I'm pretty upfront about this stuff. I don't make any money from the channel. I don't plan on it. It's very small and I wouldn't probably anyway, but my videos aren't even monetized. So yeah. Anyways, guys, let's jump into this. And what we're going to be talking about specifically is how to make a build for a character. And that might sound kind of dumb, but there are some things that you want to take into account. So let's pick Bruno because I actually don't know a lot of specifics about Bruno. So let's go, and first off, you got to know what role are you filling. Tank, fighter, mage, ADC, or marksman, or just kind of some kind of a hybrid thing. That's going to be the first thing. So obviously with Bruno, we all know he's a marksman, ADC. And so his main job is going to be two things. One is to stay alive. You want to be alive as long as possible in a fight because the other point, you should be doing the most damage on your team. Assuming you're the only marksman, you should be doing the most damage. So obviously you want to stay alive longest if you're doing the most damage because that gives your team the best chance to, one, win the fight, and two, win the game. So that's the first real big point that you need to look at when you're talking about making a build. And the second is more specifically what your particular character, not your class of character, but your particular character does. And so the biggest thing, I know a lot of people don't pay attention to this, but what is their passive ability? What is your character's passive? So for Bruno, Mecha Legs. Each time a skill causes damage, Bruno's mechanical legs will add 4% crit strike chance effect, stacking up to 5 times, so up to 20%. So, obviously with Bruno, what does this mean? It means every time a skill causes damage. Now, it doesn't specify to a minion or to a enemy hero, so you can assume that just means every time it causes damage to anything. Bruno's mechanical legs will add a 4% crit strike chance. So you can get an extra 20% crit strike. How can we maximize that particular aspect of Bruno? That is what you want to base your build around. Okay? So first off, what I'm thinking is crit strike. Well, what enhances crit strike? There is an item in the game that gives you an extra 50% crit strike damage. Now, it also is based around his abilities. So on that, I think, okay, a cooldown reduction would probably be a very, very good thing on Bruno because more cooldown, more abilities. So those two things I'm going to take into account when I'm making his build. And then we're going to look at, he has his volley shot. And if you look at this, kicks a shot refracting energy ball at a specific or a specified target, dealing 230 points of damage and slowing down the target 55%. Bruno and teammates can pick up the energy ball to reduce his skill's cooldown. Okay, so this is like his bread and butter move. And you can pick it up the ball afterwards to reduce the cooldown reduction. So looking at that, I would think that maybe a little bit of extra movement speed on Bruno would be actually a very, very good thing to get. One, because you can use this item or this ability more often, and two, obviously using your abilities more often is going to up your crit strike chance with your passive. So two big things right there, just in that one ability. And then, you know, you do the forward tackle, you deal a little bit of damage, and you increase his movement speed, and it's a stun. Very, very good ability for him, and if used right, can be one of his most impactful, actually. And then we all know his ultimate, the ball bounces around. There's no real passive kind of thing to this, whereas there are on his other two abilities. And so that's what we want to be looking at with our Bruno build. Okay, so let's get back to the build. All right, so let's look at our first item. Now, I'm not really going to jump straight in to anything on the first item. My personal preference, everyone can have a different preference on this. I want to start with something that's a well-rounded item that gives me a lot of what I want. I have been favoring Endless Battle recently because of its passive. It gives you extra movement speed, which is really good on him. It gives you life steal, more movement speed just right off the bat, 5%. So even though this isn't necessarily something I'm basing around Bruno himself, it is a very, very good item on him. So I'm going to start with that. My next item, okay, I'm going to go with Hunter Strike because it's going to give me that cooldown reduction. And increase movement speed 30% after killing a hero. So, that movement speed, like I said, very, very key when using that first ability of his with the ball. It'll bounce off, you can pick it up, you can actually use it again. So that is huge. My third item, I'm actually going to keep it exactly the same. It's going to be Blade of Destruction. 20% critical strike, and it does extra crit damage. And crit strikes will increase one's physical attack 5%, lasting 2 seconds. This is a very, very good item on Bruno. After that, I actually do like Wind Chaser because it is armor shred, and it makes you hurt really, really bad. All right. Now, I know this is coming in late in the build, but I do want to get a little bit of movement speed in there. And we're going to go with an extra 15% attack speed as well on the boots. And to finish it off, let's go with a Blade of Despair. Huge physical attack, obviously. Extra attack speed, a little more crit strike. Deals an extra 15% damage to an enemy in an abnormal state. Stunned, knocked, airborne, transformed, disabled. Obviously, Bruno himself has a stun. So, this is going to be a pretty good item on him. Assuming, obviously, you have other people on your team that are going to be doing, crowd control, all that kind of stuff. Very, very solid item on him. And so this would be a very, very good build on Bruno. I'm not saying it's the only good build, but I'm taking into account not only his class, not only the type of damage he does. That's another point I guess I forgot to mention earlier. What kind of damage do they do? Or if they're a tank, what do we want to get out of that? But for Bruno, obviously he is physical damage. And so you see how this build would be probably pretty good on any marksman. But on Bruno specifically, you get 50% crit strike when you put his passive in there. You have great movement speed with the Endless Battle, with the boots. You're very, very fast. And then with Hunter Strike, I believe that's what that one is. Hunter Strike. Yeah, you get more movement speed. Right here with Blade of Destruction, huge item. You're doing tons of damage, and it's a well-rounded build. So, we can do that with, sorry guys, I'm trying to do this. I know. So obviously, guys, this is very, very, basic, but at the same time, easy to forget. We're making a build for a specific character, not just a class, not just a damage type, not just a tank, but a specific character. And if you guys can remember that, I can guarantee that you will up your win rate. You will have better games. You'll have more MVPs. You'll have, all these things that we really want. And so I really hope you guys got something out of this video. I know it's very basic, might not be my most, exciting video, but it's something that even a veteran player can look at and go, you know what? I know these things, but I don't always think about it when I'm making my build. And I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes I'll just throw a build together. I won't really look at a character first. I'll just be like, yeah, this is good. This works. Alucard has a lot of lifesteal. I'm going to put a lifesteal in his thing, in his kit. But if we really break a character down, we can get something good for him, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I really appreciate the likes on this. I want people to see these videos and benefit from them. And thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I will talk to you guys again really, really soon.